All right, so last section we were talking about how to find slope of a line if you were given 2 points. If I gave you the linear equation in green, x plus y equals 8, and I asked you to find the slope of that line, one way you could do it is you could figure out 2 points that are on the line and then use the slope formula, change in y over change in x. So I could randomly say, okay, I'm going to plug in 0 for x, and I'll get 8 for y, and then maybe I'll plug in 0 for y and get 8 for x. And then once I have 2 points, I could do change in y over change in x, remembering to subtract in the same order, and I would figure out that my slope is -1. But in this section, we actually learned that there's a simpler way to find the slope of a line if you have the equation. So let me look back at my equation, x plus y equals 8. What we learned is that if we rearrange the equation and got y alone and positive, the coefficient of x would actually tell me the slope of the line. And this constant b would tell me the y-intercept. And remember, the y-intercept is the point where x equals 0, where the line crosses the y-axis. So if I took this equation in green and I simply rearranged it so that y was alone and positive, I do that by subtracting x from each side. Now, just by looking at the equation without even finding 2 points, the coefficient of x is -1. That means the slope of this line is -1. It's the same slope I found by generating 2 points, but it's much easier just to rearrange the equation and put it into slope-intercept form. If I then wanted to use this information to easily graph it, I have my slope and I have my y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the axis. So if the y-intercept is 8, this line is going to cross the y-axis up at +8. Once you plot the y-intercept, then you, whoops, go away. Then you can use the slope to find other points. If my slope is -1, I can go -1 in the y direction, +1 in the x direction. I could also go +1 in the y direction, -1 in the x direction. And I could do that a few times to get a few points on my line, and that's an easy way to graph a line. Rearrange the equation and put it in slope-intercept form. You always have to start by plotting the y-intercept first and then using slope to find other points. Please remember, it's a common mistake. A lot of times students will start at the origin and they'll say, oh, the slope is -1. I'll go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. But remember, not every line goes through the origin. So you have to plot a point that you know is on the line. It's very easy to start with the y-intercept. So maybe I'll show you one more example. Let's say I had this equation. 2x plus y equals 6. I want to graph the line. Again, putting it in slope-intercept form is going to be the easiest thing to do. If I could expand my coordinate plane here. Oh my goodness, sorry, having issues here. Finally. All right, so if I rearrange this equation to get y alone and positive, y equals -2x plus 6. Once again, I'm going to start at 6 on the y-axis. I'm going to then use my slope, which is -2. Down 2 in the y direction, +1 in the x direction. Or +2 in the y direction, -1 in the x direction. And there is my line. I think that's it for this section.